Okay, we are back. Um, so I figured it out. We have new videos in here, so let me just pin this stuff before I forget. But I figured it out, what was going on with the requests, and I'll show you guys exactly what happened and any changes I had to make. So I just ran a new one, so we have videos to work with already. But we have our failures down here. So the first one, I forgot we can actually just click into here and see what the failure was. It failed because the prompt contained sensitive words, and it's because the cattle dog had a holster with a gun in it, so the AI didn't want to generate that. These other ones failed because I was just sending too many requests. As you can see, too many requests. And then another one failed because of the sensitive information. So I went into ChatGPT and I said, I gave it the two prompts that failed because of sensitive words. And basically it said that there was gun-related imagery and violent themes. So I went into the actual prompt and I added this little section that says, important, all prompts must be family friendly, no references to guns or weapons, no references of showdowns, and then this one went through and we got the videos. So cool. Now we're going to move on to the next step of creating audio. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to grab a limit. We're limiting it to 1 just because, as you can see, 4 items are flowing through, and we're going to create a request to Google Sheets, to an agent to create sound, and then to 11 Labs. And if we do that with 4 items coming through, it's going to create 4 sounds. So we just want 1. And then later we're going to merge everything back together, so it doesn't matter. But first thing we want to do is update our Google Sheet real quick. So we have our credential set up. We're going to update the image to video document sheet 1. We're going to be manually mapping columns. So this is basically just saying, how do we know which row to change? So we're going to map on a row number, and we're just going to be able to drag that in from our first node where we're grabbing ideas from that Google Sheet in the first place. So it's going to say whenever the row number is 4, we're going to update these following columns. And the only column in this node that we want to update is video status. And so in video status, you can see we have 2 options. We have to do and created. So all we want to do is we want to type in exactly the word created the same way it populates in Google Sheets. And I'm just going to call this video status. And now we hit test step. We should get the message that it was updated to created, and then if we go into the sheets, that one just moved to created. So this is the Cowboy Wild West. Cool. So as you can see, 1 item. Now we are going to do another AI agent, and I'm doing this just because I want to hook up to Gemini Flash 2.0 real quick. So let me grab a Flash 2.0. I'm going to change this to Flash 2.0. I just like to be able to see visually which model we're using. And this is going to be basically just a sound agent. And so the idea here is that we just want to create a prompt to be able to feed into the next node to make the sound effects. So we're not listening for a connected chat trigger node. We're going to be defining below. We are going to be looking within our original Google Sheet once again. So we're going to scroll all the way down and we're going to give it the style. So we could also pull it. I'm just going to pull it from the Google Sheet to keep things consistent. But I'm going to say, hey, every time we run you, there's going to be a new style. So this time we're looking at a Cowboy Wild West Showdown style. And for the system message, we're basically just going to paste this expression, or not expression, we're going to paste this in, which says, you are master sound prompter, given a style, which is the input, generate a vivid 1 to 2 sentence prompt that describes the ambiance, tone, and key sound elements to create an immersive audio scene. Use evocative language to capture the essence of the style. And then we gave it a quick example, which was haunted ghost hunters. Eerie whispers echo through a decaying mansion as floorboards creak under cautious footsteps. A distant, distorted radio crackles with ghostly voices while a cold wind howls. So that's like creating the audio. That's going to be 20 seconds long, right? So we'll test this. It's going to go through, and now we have dust devils swirl in the sun-baked street as spurs jingle on polished boots and a tense silence hangs heavy before the quick draw. The wind whistles through the canyon, carrying the distant howl of a coyote as a lone harmonica plays a mournful tune. So as you can see, it also added a new line, so it's not good. All we're going to do here is we're going to do a set node. We are going to call this set audio. We're going to drag in the output of the sound agent as the expression, and then at the end I'm just going to type dot trim end, and it's going to get rid of the new line, and I'm just going to call this audio. And so we hit test step. We'll see now there's no new line at the end, so that's just a quick cleanup. That's one of the things with Flash is when I was using Flash up here, it was throwing in new lines, not even just at the end, but in the middle. So that's why I threw in this code node. Cool. So from there, we're going to make a request to 11 Labs. So I'm going to grab HTTP request. I'm going to go to 11 Labs. Good morning, Nate. What I'm going to do now is, first of all, obviously you want to come down here, get your API key. This is where you'll create a new key, copy it, and then you'll be able to use that as your authentication. But I'm going to click on API documentation. We're going to go to API reference, and what we want to do is sound effects. That's the endpoint. So we're going to go to this endpoint, which is a post request, create sound effect, and we have over here a curl command. So we're going to copy the curl. We're going to go back to initn, import the curl in here, and hit import. Okay, so my initn's been bugging lately where import doesn't work. If you paste this in there and hit import, it will populate this request, I promise you. So I'm just going to copy in a different node. But I promise you, if you paste that in, I mean, look at the curl command. It's basically saying we're making a post request to this endpoint, so it's going to fill that in. It's going to give you a header, it's going to give you this header, and then it's going to give you the actual body to fill in the text that you need. So back in initn, we have the text. So this is what it will populate. But one thing that we want to add is the duration. So that's not going to be in the curl command, but we look here and we see an optional field as duration, which is the duration of seconds, which must be at least 0.5 and at most 22, which is perfect because we're doing 20. So that's why I added duration _ seconds. And then I just put the value in as 20, and we can keep that hard coded. And now we just need to fill in the output, or sorry, the text that we want to feed in, which is going to be right here, this audio that we set, because there's no new line. As you can see right there, there's a new line here, there's none. So we're going to fill this in there. And our credential, of course, we already have created. This is going to pop up when you import curl. There's going to be one field here that says x-API key, and then there's going to be another one that says content type application JSON. I honestly just removed both of those, and I did my predefined credential. So I typed in x-API-key here, put my API key, and then I just named it so I could save this credential. And then if we hit test step, we should be generating a 20-second long audio. So give this a sec to run here. And then we'll be able to test out the audio, make sure it's working, make sure it sounds decently like okay. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds Wild West, and we could always play with this prompt to make it a little bit better. But there's our audio, and unfortunately we can't pin this because it's binary data. So it would be nice if we could pin it so we didn't have to recreate the audio file every time, but let's just keep running this workflow. So exact same thing if you did watch V1 of this. What we're going to do now is we have to upload it to Google Drive, and then we have to make it publicly shareable, and I'll show you guys that, right? So upload to Drive, or file. File upload, we're doing the binary data right here, and the file name, we just want to name it the title. So I'm going to scroll all the way back down to Google Sheets. We'll do the style. So I'm just going to drag in style and then put .mp3 so it comes through right. So there's our file. We're just going to always throw it into our audio files folder and just name this upload to Drive, and we will test step. That should populate into this audio files drive right here, and it's still running. There we go. Now if I come in here and refresh, we should see Cowboy Wild West Showdown right there. But you can see that it's not shared. All these other ones have this people thing. And so even if we click on it within this drive, we can get access to it because we're in our drive. But if a random web was trying to access it with this web content link, it would be 403 error. So what we need to do is share it. So I'm going to add another Google Drive node. This one's going to be a share file. And all we have to do is say what file do we want to share. We're going to do by ID and just drag it in from the left here. So we're sharing this ID. We're going to add a permission of a reader, and we're going to say anyone, and then allow file discovery. Once we do that, it's just going to make that file publicly accessible. So it's shared now, anyone, anyone, anyone. If we come back in here and we try to download or go to this link, it's going to download the file onto the computer. As you can see right here, just got downloaded. So now when we send this over to Creatomate to make the template, it will actually be able to download the file and use it. So cool. Let me just save that. Always save periodically. Now we're going to add a merge node because we want to get this audio file back to the original 4 videos. So we're going to drag in the videos as input 1, drag in the audio as input 2, and we're going to click into here. And instead of doing an append, what we want to do is we want to do a combine, and we want to combine by all possible combinations, because matching fields says, okay, if we're combining two data sets and every time the names are the same, we're going to match all those fields together. Position is going to be, we have 10 records over here, 10 records over here. We're just going to combine them on those 10 records. We're doing every single combination. So because there's 4 items on the right or on the left and 1 item on the right, it's going to just match 1 item to all of those 4 items. As you can see, we'll get 4 items. Each one is its own video. So video 1, which is the charming koala. Video 2, which is the majestic llama. And video 3, which is the golden retriever. And then always, of course, we have our, what is this? A rugged feline, so a cat. And then on the right, we have the same exact thing, which was just our drive permissions right there. So we're just matching it so we can pull back in our audio files, really. From there, copying in this code node, because what we're doing with this is we are basically trying to turn these into items that we can drag into Create-O-Mate. So if you notice on the left, we have 4 items, but we can't drill down because all we're seeing here is item number 1. As you can see, all we see is the koala. We would have to basically switch to the different items in order to, you see what I mean? There's 4 items, but we'd have to like get them from here. So what we want to do is actually, I want to try something because that step may just be complicating things for no reason. If we do our next node, which is the Create-O-Mate template, this is what it's going to look like. So if you watch that first video, we had this template where we had 1 audio track and then 4 videos. But this time, we're doing 1 audio track and then 4 videos paired with a text so that each one can just say what animal is coming through. So the source code for this, I will drop in the classroom so you guys can just copy this template exactly. And then all we have to do is hit Use Template, API Integration, and we will just copy this to the clipboard. And once we copy this, and I'm sure my curl is not going to work once again because it's been bugging, but you will import this, and then what it's going to pull up is this HTTP request where it's already going to fill out your, of course, your method, your URL, your authorization token, and it's going to fill out this stuff, but it's going to be dynamic, or sorry, these aren't going to be filled in yet. These are going to literally say like placeholder. So in the template, you see this is what it will fill out as the body request. So it'll say placeholder, 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 dynamic text. And so then our job is just to delete all those placeholders and fill them out with our information. So let's hook it up to here, and let's just make sure we can actually reference the different items. So video source 1, this is going to be the first video, and this is why I wanted to do the code node, because as you can see, we're only really able to grab the video URL for the first item unless we just, yeah, so this is all just item 1. That's why I wanted to do the code node. So just trying to show why we did that. Anyways, I'm just going to drag the code node back in so we can split out our parts and just easily drag them into the next section. So I'll hit test step, and now we have, it should be 1 item with all of the 4 URLs. So here's the koala, here's the llama, here's the golden retriever, and here's the feline. Now we should have this already basically mapped because all we did was dragged in video URL 1 goes here, video URL 2 goes here, and like I'll just show you exactly what that looks like. So video URL 2 we would just put in between the quotes, and we get the video URL. And actually it looks a lot shorter like that, so let's just redo all of them. Okay, so the first video URL we're going to throw in right there. The second one, we just scroll down to video URL here. Third one, we just scroll down to the next one. And finally, we grab the 4th video URL. And then we need to get the audio track source. So I'm going to go back down to the share to drive or upload to drive node. And we just want the web content link. So I drag that in there. Can't determine which item to use. So we are going to come into here and we're going to delete the word item. And we're just going to say, okay, we want the first item. So now it's green. We've got that reference. And then same thing down here. We want to just drag in the text, and in this case what I did was just I dragged in all the way from that first node where you can either do where we're setting the animals, or you can do the very first Google Sheet node, which is what I'll do here. So I'll just delete all these. We're going to be grabbing animal 1 because this animal koala matches with the first video of the koala, And for all of these, instead of item, you're just going to type in first. And we're just going to do the same thing. So the next item is a llama. The third one is a dog. We're just deleting item and typing in first. And then for the last one is a cat. Deleting item, typing in first with the 2 parentheses. And now we have all of this on the right, which is going to fill in the template in Create-O-Mate. So I'll hit test step. We'll go to Create-O-Mate. We'll go back to our API log and we'll see that there's one rendering. This takes about 10 seconds, honestly, 10 to 20. I'll just refresh. I will just refresh again. There we go, it's already done. So let's click in. Hit play. So we have our koala with the text koala. We have our llama with the text llama. We have the audio syncing up. That one's cool with the thing moving in the background with our dog. And we have our cat. Cool. So that is the finished thing. And because that takes like maybe 10 seconds to render, we're gonna do another wait. And just to be safe, we will make this one like 25 seconds. But for now, I'm just going to say 1, just for testing purposes. I'm also going to pin this so we don't re-render a video. And then it's just a matter of downloading that video. So this is going to be an HTTP request. It's going to be a GET because we're not sending anything over. We don't even need credentials. All we need is the URL from this wait node, which is the final video. So the URL, I'm just going to say download video. And then if we hit test step, that's as simple as that. We're just hitting this URL and we're pulling back this binary field, which is our actual video, as you can see. So this is the full 20-second video. It won't let me speed all the way through, but that's the 20-second video. I can't pin this because it's binary. But now we're done. We have the finished video. So what we want to do first is upload to YouTube. And the reason we want to upload it right away is because we have the binary data directly immediately before, so it's just easier to reference. So I'm going to say this is an upload video node. We connect our account by doing our Google Client ID and secret, which you would have done earlier for Google Drive or for Google Sheets. So connect your account, you'll sign back in, and now we have our account connected. And now we just fill out, okay, how do we fill out the parameters in our YouTube Shorts? So the title is going to be the title from the sheets. Once again, we're going to have to do the first in order to access the right one, Cowboy Wild West Showdown. And the reason the first thing is because, you know, a lot of times through the workflow, we split out 4 items. And so technically there's 4 versions of Cowboy Wild West items. And so we just need to drill down to the first one. You could do last as well. They're all going to be the same, but I just do first. Then we have United States for our region code. Category name, I'm going to do film and animation. I had tried doing shorts, but I was getting an error. And this will automatically go into your YouTube as a short because it is 9:16 aspect ratio. So next we want to do privacy status unlisted. And you can see there's a ton of different options that we have. Notify subscribers, yes or no, all this kind of stuff. And the only other thing I want to do is add a description, which is the caption. And so if we just drag all the way back down, we have a caption already created in our Google Sheet. So we just drag in that caption. But once again, we have to do first. And now we have saddle up. The wildest animals in town are facing off in an epic Wild West showdown. Cool. So if we hit test step here, this is going to, let me pull up my YouTube real quick. And we'll go to my unlisted videos. In the shorts. Okay, so I don't know why it's processing here. All of them yesterday were coming through over here, as you can see, as shorts. So, actually, that's really weird. That's really strange. Oh, no, there it is. Why did it get processed also as an... Oh, because all videos do. Yeah, there we go. Anyways, there's a short, so we can click into here and click on it in YouTube, and we'll see that it is a short. We have our title right there. We have our audio coming through. We have our caption, and then now all we need to do is make this public. So that's that, right? Now what we want to do is we want to update that Google Sheet, because now in the sheet we have the video as created, and we need to say it's processed, and we need to update the link. So I'm going to add a Google Sheet node. Update row. We're going to grab that same Google Sheet, the same doc and everything. And once again, we're going to map on the column row. So we're going to choose the column to match on is going to be row. We're going to drag in row number 4. So we're only going to update row number 4 in this case. But this is going to be dynamic. So if we're doing row 5, we'll update row 5, row 6, etc. And all we're updating here is publish status and video link. So first of all, publish status is either processed or not processed. So we're going to change this every time to processed. And then the video link, we're able to grab from the download video node, which is the URL right here. So we pull that in, and then we just basically change the name to update sheet, and we'll test the step. We'll go over here and watch it hit processed, as well as the video link coming through. There we go. And if we clicked on this, we'd see it is in fact our Wild West animals. And now we're pretty much done. The last thing that I do here is just send myself a video notification. So I'm going to do that on Gmail. We're going to send a message, which is just going to be notification. You can send this to yourself, so you can hard code in this to field. The subject, I'm just going to hard code in basically saying like new short processed, and then we're just dragging the title. So I'm going to go all the way back down. We're going to grab title, and we're of course just going to have to do first. So new short processed Cowboy Wild West Showdown Animals. And then for the body, very similar thing. What I want to do is just say, hey Nate, a new short has been created and is awaiting your approval. You can view it here. And then I'm just going to paste in the link to my shorts section of my content. Cheers. So that's it, really. And maybe we'll just say like, it is called, and we'll just throw in the title once more from the sheet. If I can scroll all the way down, it's called Wild West Showdown Animals. And we could even say like, you know, it features a koala and a llama and a dog and a cat or whatever, but this is what we want. I'm gonna hit test step. There we go. Let's just pull up my email. Make sure to save again. This is exactly where I didn't save it last time. But here we have new short processed. We want to turn off this append, so I'm just going to go back into initn. If I add an option, I can turn off the append initn attribution right here. We'll hit test step again just to show you guys what that actually does. So the first email has this message, and we have all the dynamically filled in parameters right here. And then the second one won't have that message because we turned off the attribution, but I can click in this link and we can see we're pulled up to our shorts right here. And perfect. So that's basically it. We have the sheet is now processed, and then next time if we hit run, it's going to grab the futuristic cyberpunk rebels animals rather than any of these three because these are already marked off as created. So that is the workflow. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, and I will obviously drop this in the chat as well as, or not the chat, I will drop this in the community with all of the different, with this template audio sourced as well. So you guys can come in here and everything will be plugged in. I will drop a template for this as well so that you guys can, once again, everything's going to be mapped already. And then if you want to change things up, it's just going to be a matter of changing your prompting in here or changing some of these fields in here. If you don't want to do animals in a certain style, it could be anything else. Like if you saw that first example was more of like POV storytelling. So yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and let me know any feedback. I think that the concept of these faceless animations are pretty cool, but of course each run is costing about $1 if we're creating 4 videos, and then you've got your different calls like your 11 Labs call, your templates on Create-A-Made, of course. So keep that kind of stuff in mind, but pretty cool flow. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you guys.